Hello and welcome to Design Space Friday with Shirley Ross, a Close to My Heart consultant. And today we are going to kind of play with overlays in a different way. We have a new Cricut cartridge, our Cricut collection coming out in September, and several of the designs are going to be partial overlays. And I really thought they were really amazing. So I want to kind of show you how you can create your own. I'm going to do a fall theme. So I'm going to come in and do a search, and I'm going to filter it through purchased. And that's just so I only get the ones that I know I own, not own, but have the license to use. And remember, when you click on it, it's going to put it in the queue so you know it's there. I like that one. I like this one. I got it that time. I'm trying to remember not to click. I like that one. I'm looking for ones that have outlines as well as a solid. So we'll do that one. All right. I think that was all the ones on this one. Now we're going to go to the top, and I'm going to just put leaves. See what we get, because sometimes a different search gets you a little bit of a different selection. So we'll go down and see. Again, I'm looking for outlined ones. Let's see, I'm trying to also use close to my heart ones. Just not, we'll go ahead and take it. We'll see what happens. You'll see as I begin to put it together. I think that might be all. And you can see we're doing the queue. So as you go through all the searches, you just keep queuing them up. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. So let's insert those. And they're all going to come in kind of right on top of each other, and that's all right. So the first thing I want to do is this banner, actually his is a word and the banner together. So we're going to ungroup it. We're going to, it moves it to the top. So we're going to make sure we have those selected. All right, and I'm going to slice it because I want it to be an outline and not a piece that you have to, because we're going to do some welding. So we'll put that up here. So now all we're going to do is go along, and I'm just going to delete the pieces that we don't want. Let's see. Let's do this one next. This one. All right, we'll delete that. So you see we're ending up with just the outlines. Like that. All right, let's do this one. So this one's going to take a few minutes because there's lots of pieces to it. And in the end, all I want is the outline of the leaves. And we don't need the branch. All right, so we have the leaves. And they are grouped. So when I ungroup them, they'll all move. And then we only have the last pumpkin. All right, so now everything is outlined. So the next thing I want to do is we're going to bring in a shape because we want to have a background. And this is going to be an overlay for a single page, 12 by 12. We're going to make this white so that it's easier to see. We're going to make sure it's at 1 and 1, and it is. And then we're going to arrange it all the way to the back so everything comes above. Then we're going to shrink the page down so we can kind of see. Now, we're going to need some overlay photo wells. So let's bring in a square. All right, we'll close that. All right, and we're going to unlock the sizing because we want it to make it a 4 by 6, so it'll be 4 wide because we're going to do a portrait. And then we're going to duplicate it, and because we want to make it into a frame, we're going to make this one 3.5. Let's unlock it, and 5.5. All right, and then we'll select this one here and this one. So we'll do Shift key and select. We are going to align, We're going to center it. Then we're going to slice. And then we'll get rid of the centers. And now we have the first photo well. Let's select it and let's go ahead and duplicate it. Let's do it 2 times. We'll slide one over here out of the way just in case we need it. This one I'm going to make a 4x3. So the width is going to change to 3 and the height to 4. All right, so now we have 2 photo wells. So now we're going to start designing. So we'll slide some of this out of the way. And I know I'm going to want to use a couple of these, so let's duplicate that one. And we'll go ahead and make a couple of them smaller. So we'll have a large, medium, and small. There we go. All right, so we have those 3. And then remember, we have all of these, which we'll ungroup. So now we can play with them separate. All right, and then let's get, I think I'm going to have that here. And I believe I'm going to put this one up here. Now, I'm going to line those up. Now, if you notice, when I made this one smaller, because I didn't make it the same way I made this one, the frame is a little, it's not the same 1/2 inch that the other is. So I just, because I want, excuse me, I want them next to each other, I'm going to just kind of line them up so they look good together. I'm going to hold that. Nope, got the wrong thing. Let's go over here and pick that one and that one, and then let's weld them together. Okay, so I've got my photo wells where I want them. So I think I want to make this a little smaller. Let's duplicate it just in case we want to use it again. We'll move it over here. And I think what I want to do is to put this down here. Now, when you're going to weld an image that has an opening like this, you want to make sure that the piece you're putting it next to is far enough away. I'll plus it up so you can see a little bit better. All right. So that it's not inside that opening, because then when you weld it, if it's too close, it's going to actually fill that one in. That did very good. So now we're going to minus that and go back up so you can see. So we're beginning to just slowly build, and then I want this one down here, but I think I want it bigger. And I think, now remember, what I'm going to be watching for too is as I weld, I do not want this to be bigger than 11.5 because then it won't cut. So now let's take that and pick this and weld. And when we weld it together, then we can see when we select it that there is still space. So that means when it cuts out, it will be able to cut out and fit on your 12x12. So this is going to kind of be what I'm going to use for my title. And I'm going to, let's move that, arrange that to the back, because maybe it'd be easier to grab this and send it to the front. So let's send it to the front. There we are. All right, again, I don't want it to be bigger than 11.5. Make it a little bit smaller. And I don't want the outline here to hit that N, because it will take out the N. Now we will lose a little bit of this point here, and it's up to you. If you wish to do the title as a separate piece, you can. And again, let's see what it is. Whoop, too far. You can see it emptied that. It closed that up, so we need to move it over just a little bit more that way. Let's see what we get this time. I'm going to weld that. There we are. And it's 11.422, so we're good. So it'll still cut by 10. So now what we want to do is let's just fill in some of these leaves. Yep. We'll just grab that one. Let's arrange it to the front so that when it comes across, we know it's going to be in front. And that's cute. Let's bring in one of these. And you just kind of lay it out. I don't think I like those two together. Sorry about that. Let's arrange it to the front. There we go. And not sure I like. Sorry. There we are. All right. I'm going to set it all the way to the back and then move it just one forward. And that way everything should be above it. You can see over here the order of everything. And now this is further down. So can we capture? Right, I like that one. Okay. That might be a little too big. Let's make this the small one. And you just kind of picture how you want it to look. Just think of it as paper piecing. Let's make it a little smaller. Sorry for the clicking. I'm playing with the moving and it's going to click. All right, maybe. Again, it's just a matter of, I don't like that. I don't like that either. How about we just go with the 2? Of those. Now let's try another one of these. Let's make sure it's to the front. How good it is. All right, so we're just kind of building a cluster here. Maybe we don't need any of those. Maybe just the 2 will be good. Yeah, I think that'll be too much, so we'll take it out. I mean, you can add more things if you want. I think what I might want to do is maybe add a few more pumpkins. Let's duplicate one more. Let's make this one smaller. Bring it over here. Again, with the same concept of trying not to fill in. We'll plus it up so you can see a little bit better. Let's see what happens on that one. I think if one of those fills in, it won't be so bad. All right. So now we want to select everything except this one. So we'll do it from over here. But we don't want that. Let's delete that one because we decided we didn't want that one. All right. So now we'll come back up and select. I forgot to get rid of one of those green ones. But we don't want that either because that's the hidden one. So we'll start over again. Sorry. I forgot I had one of those still hidden over in the side. So we'll skip that. We'll come down and delete that one. And then we will weld. And then we will minus it down. That turned out pretty good. So now what you would do is we're going to get rid of this because we don't need it. This would be the piece of paper that you already have. And then this is what would cut out on the Cricut. So when you click make it, sorry, I forgot to hide that. There we go. So we're going to make it. And so you see this is the piece that will cut out. And then you can lay it on your layout however you want and just put your photos behind those photo wells. And what you can also do is on the base page is you could actually do some watercoloring behind the pumpkin in orange. This is probably like a pear color. So you could do a greenish color, a little red for the apples, a little purple. So you would maybe put some splashes of color behind, or you could just leave them blank. And if you wanted to change the color to a more fall color, you could actually cut it out in an orange. So this is just another way to create a layout or an overlay that doesn't have the feel of a full overlay, but just a piece overlay that you can just piece on here. You can add other embellishments to it on once you got it to the paper. And like I said, you could do some watercoloring behind it. You could do some colored vellum behind it. You could do all kinds of cool things with this layout. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week in Design Space Friday.